This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Jedi Network's Jet Solorian podcast. I haven't done one in a long time. Of course, since I'm so caught up with the professional wrestling and becoming, our focus on the wrestling and all that stuff. I wanted to talk about, I did watch the Jet game today. What's going on? Happy Sunday to everyone who's joining us on the YouTube, X, all the different platforms. Thank you for joining me here. The Jets open up the 2025 season against the Pittsburgh Steelers in what was a very entertaining game, very competitive game, high-scoring affair. Aaron Rodgers, all that pomp and circumstances. But at the end of the day, what did I get out of it? The same thing I get out of every year, a loss. The agita, the same old Jets. Self-explanting mistakes. Am I going to sit here with a moral victory with the team? Some could take the moral victory with the New York Jets, but when you're a 15-year drought of not making to the postseason, and I understand this is game one, and it's going to be the biggest overreaction in all across professional sports in NFL Week 1. Everyone in Week 1, either they think they're gonna win the Super Bowl, or they're going to be the worst football team of 2025 season. But what I see for the Jets is no home field dominance. Yet again, you have a chance. You had all season to try to find yourself a decent kicker. You find yourself a kicker who let's face it, I'm going to be honest with you. When he missed that extra point, and we were chasing points, I said, man, those missed kicks are definitely going to come back and bite us in our tuchus. And speaking of tuchus, I want to talk about our sponsor. Thank you for a moment here. Remind our sponsor, Dude Wipes, the sponsor of the Sports Jedi Network. Thank you, Dude Wipes, for sponsoring the Sports Jedi Network. And let's talk about it. The defense has to show us something. Andre, I agree with you. Thanks, Andre. Andre's always been a loyal subscriber on our channel, especially the Jets and all the different throughout the years. Our defense has to show us something here. Absolutely. What did I come out of it? I'm thankful that our offense looked 20 times better. The fact that Nathaniel Hackett should never coach an offensive NFL game in his life, because for the past 2 years, we've been under so much crap, or even 4 years. And what a difference the offensive coordinating look. Justin Fields, let's face it, Justin Fields is not our quarterback of the future. He is a stopgap quarterback. Does he look good? He did. He moved things around. This game was much more entertaining than listen. This year, I put a pin on doing watch-alongs because I was like, I can't go another year of these lethargic Jet games, in prime time, doing watch-alongs and these games. And Andre knows our watch-alongs. We try to get it exciting. We try to get it going. We had a lot of viewers. We had viewers, but boy, those games were rough. And I'm like, I don't want to succumb myself on a week to week with this team if they're not going to be good. This game was highly entertaining. This game was very, very entertaining on the offensive side. Now that third quarter or into that fourth quarter, the mistakes, the special team mistakes, turnovers, just totally bit us in our rear end. We're missing 2-point conversions. We missed two 2-point conversions in a game when we lose by 2. I mean, it's like, and I cannot blame the coaching staff. The coaching staff did well. I thought Aaron Glenn, at least early part here in game 1, they adjusted second half. How many times we seen second half games where there was no coaching adjustments from Saleh? Even from last year, there was no coaching adjustments. At least we had some coaching adjustments with the team. Again, I'm not here to put moral victories. I'm giving you my opinion or my thoughts. They lose this game on a 60-yard field goal where other teams come in and every other kicker from everybody else from other than a hometown jersey, and I'm talking about Jets and Giants, can't hit the field goals. You see that, I believe the Eagles kicker came in and a couple years ago, kicked what, a 63-yard field goal to beat the Giants. Here we got Boswell comes in and kicks a 60-yard field goal in our home. And then our kicker can't hit an extra point kick. That's the name of the game. Also, if DJ Metcalf doesn't get that lucky bounce or that lucky ricochet into his arms and continue that drive, this game might have been over there. But you can't. It would have, could have, should have. You know, I always say this on my watch-alongs. If my aunt had balls, she'll be called my uncle. The Jets just lost the game, plain and simple. Am I encouraged? Yes, I am encouraged because we're going to have a competitive season. What does that mean? Are we going to be a 500 team? 1 game over 500? 2 games under 500? I don't know. Am I ready for this roller coaster that's called the Jet season after week 1? I'm a Jet fan. I've been a Jet fan for all these years. I am. I'm invested in this. I have my shirt, my jersey, my shirt, my hat on. I don't wear it right now. We're September and it's 90 degrees in Orlando, Florida. I'm not going to wear an NFL jersey right now. I'll wear my t-shirt. Once it gets cooler, I'll put the jerseys on. What am I taking away from this here? Now I want to see how Coach Glenn and company make the right adjustments to the team. One thing I did see that I'm very encouraged. I want to take a positive. The play calling and the snapping of the play clock. You saw, and listen, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you're on cloud 9, but I wouldn't be jumping for joy because you saw the play clock on Aaron Rodgers run down plenty of times where you're at 2 seconds, 1 second. There was a few times that I thought they should have been called for a delay of game, but they let it go. That's something that we saw a lot on the other side as a Jet fan watching Rodgers under center. This year, I like the fact that they're not wasting that much delay of game situation or rushing the calls. They move pretty quickly. No, Steve, I don't think I will be doing any watch-alongs. I think those days might be a little behind us due to the fact that it's just many different reasons. I don't know if I'm going to do it. To be continued, I don't know. I was talking about that because for so many times we did them and we lost. And if I do, I'll do them on the playback app, not on the YouTube app, where I'm able to you're able to see the games with me on the playback. That's why I encourage everyone to join us on the playback app, where like we had the NBA basketball season there. Last season, we had all the NBA games. We got to see all the games, all the action. And I want to do that with the football, but I don't know if the playback has a partnership with the NFL right now to show those games. So right now, to make a long story short, right now, the watch-alongs might be on hold, especially now that we have some media credentials in the world of professional wrestling. So that's why we're kind of a little bit slowly transitioning into the world of wrestling, but we're still keeping our thumb like Chef Dan, and of course you're going to hear the Steeler report from our guy PGH Chris. Will Holly break down the Steelers side of the game tomorrow or maybe later this evening. But back to the action here. The Jets could get a break, find a solid quarterback. Tony, let me ask this question. Or Steven, let me ask you a question. Are you convinced that Justin Fields is your quarterback of the future? I'm not. I think he's good. I think he's serviceable. He's going to make us competitive. He's going to make us great. But I think there's a plateau when it comes to Justin Fields. Now, I'm going to ask this question to us Jet fans. What do we want to do? Do we want to build for the next dynasties or next few years, or you just want to break a drought of mediocrity and get into the postseason, and then you get into the tournament, like they say, and roll the dice? And Steven says no. Steven, I agree with you. I don't think Justin Fields is the quarterback of the Jets' future. I don't even think the quarterback of the Jets' future is even remotely. I don't even know who he is. I really don't. But that's a bridge that we have to worry about crossing maybe at the end of the season or next season, whatever the case is. So that's why it's hard to emotionally get really behind the Jets, because we all know this is a quarterback-driven league. And if you're not 100% believing in your quarterback, which listen, at the end of the game, at the end of the day, this person needs a lot of slings and arrows his way. Garrett Wilson. You want to be the top-notch wide receiver in the NFL. You know, he had a lot of words, a disconnect with Aaron Rodgers. At the end of the day, when it's fourth down and the game's on the line, you have to hang on to the football. Regardless, I know Jalen Ramsey put on a nice hit. Classic textbook hard-hitting game, tackling game, winning hit. But if you want to make that type of money, you got to hold on to that football. Easier said than done for me, sitting behind a computer, behind a microphone, and say that. Easy for me to say that and say you should grab it. But when the chirping and the verbal accolades that you want to give yourself, and we want to definitely give you your flowers, but you have to come up with those catches, guy. You have to come up with those catches. You make that catch, that drive is continued. We don't know if the Jets could win because, again, let me ask this question. And before we really give this slings and arrows to Garrett Wilson, are you confident that Anderson was going to hit that field goal, that game winner field goal? I wasn't. I wasn't. If he missed an extra point kick, I had 30% confidence that the kicker was going to hit that field goal. But I'm going to say this. I wanted him to be in position of it. I said, you know what? I want him to at least take a shot at it. If he misses, he misses. Oh, well. But I wanted him to get into that position. I would have wished him to catch that football and to extend in that drive. All in all, I thought everyone else played. I thought Will McDonald, hopefully this is a year that he takes another step in his growth with the sacks. Quentin Williams continue to put some pressure in the front line. Also, that's going to help McDonald. Jermaine Johnson, Sherwood kept this going. There is, no more CJ Mosley. I thought Sherwood played well. In one thing, I'm a little bit worried. Our cornerbacks with the way, and of course, hopefully they get Sauce Gardner rounds back to his Pro Bowl positioning of his play and so forth. Funny, Austin Eckler's made a big play there before Justin Fields walked in for that touchdown. I was like, oh, no, wouldn't that be something? Austin Eckler makes the stop for another former Jet. But all in all, first game of the year, 34-32, where you could have, should have, would have. The Jets should have won that, could have won that, but they didn't. At the end of the day, they did not. Pittsburgh moves on. They go 1-0. I'm pretty sure the Steelers got stuff they want to clean up and want to do. Yeah, woohoo! Should have not missed the 35-year. That's someone else from your team. I don't know anything about the Falcons, Nate. I apologize there. I don't know nothing about the Falcons. I'm not a Falcon fan. As long as they beat the Tampa Bay Bucks, I'll put a smile on my side of my face. I don't like the Bucks. Just one of those teams that, from my geographic area, don't like it. I live in Orlando, and I don't want to see their games on my television. I want to see Jet games. But all in all, guys, what's your thought of Justin Fields? Impressive, not impressive? It did change the vibe of the game, although it's still the same result. Much more entertaining, yes. Was it less embarrassing? Some of us could say yes, some of us could say no. Because at the end of the day, you still get the big fat L, especially winning at home. When you're up at home, you have to learn how to secure these victories. Maybe that is something that Aaron Glenn is trying to teach this team, and it's going to come with time. How to learn how to win, how to handle adversity, how to handle and conduct themselves as a winner. Not expecting what could go wrong has gone wrong with the Jets. Maybe that's something that we're going to see in year one under Aaron Glenn's coaching regime. Change the stigma of the New York Jets. How am I going to come out of this game tonight or this afternoon? I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged that there could be a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not as close as we think. I still think we have questions. Who's driving the vehicle? When I mean driving, talk about quarterbacking. Do we have the right driver to get us through the darkness of the tunnel into the light of winning? Could it be Justin Fields? I don't know. We'll find out. I just wanted to give my thoughts there. Congratulations, by the way, to the Steelers for winning this game, going out there on MetLife on the road. And by the way, for game one of the Jets, there should have not been that many Steeler fans in that building. But at the end of the day, this is what happens when, and this is a whole other rant, and we see it with the professional wrestling. When you start out pricing people who can't afford these tickets, your diehards, other people need to sell the tickets, and they will sell it to opposing fan base of other teams. But hopefully you guys enjoyed week 1 of the NFL season. I hope you guys get ready. There's more games. The second half of schedule there for the 4:00 games, then the nightcap, and of course Monday Night Football. I'm the Jets. I'm looking for another kicker. I don't know if Nick Foles is it. You think Rodgers looked pretty good? Rodgers looked great. Rodgers. One thing, Tony, I want to say something about Rodgers. He threw a pass on his back foot, back foot, and he nailed it perfect to the second wide receiver. Forget his name. And man, that was like, wow, Rodgers, that looked pretty sharp there. But here's the cadence that I saw from Rodgers that I saw with the New York Jets. The play clock winding down, where you delay a game, and that leads to false starts, missed blocks, so forth. Edge rushers getting a count and going after the quarterback, broken up plays. You got to get set. You got to keep the defensive line on their toes so they don't have a rhythm with your snap count. And I think Rodgers doesn't do a good job, although Rodgers has the talent to overcome that. Yes, Aaron Rodgers does, but but you're trusting your offensive linemen and players you haven't played with yet to be on that same level with you. And we saw that firsthand with the Jets. Also, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have to be a little concerned because the amount of let me look at the stats. They didn't run the football very effective. And in the NFL, regardless of the fact, yes, it has become a passing league, but you still have to be able to run the football and have time of possession. I thought the Jets, that's one thing the Jets did very well, especially with Breece Hall into a final year of a contract. He's in a contract year. They have to find out if they're going to pay him or they're going to keep Allen. Allen, I thought, did not have a pretty good game. I thought Allen was their third running back, did some good things there. There was a play there where he was on the pass play and he stopped a nice rush up the middle a couple times, gave Fields a couple seconds to throw the football well. I thought that was another one that I saw. I was encouraged in that. I also saw the tight ends being used. Rucker had a good game, and they're carrying 4 tight ends on the roster. They're using them. Listen, that's another thing. You see the Eagles, you see the Chiefs, where Kelsey, and you see, you have to incorporate the tight end in the passing game, especially when it goes with the linebackers. I thought Justin Fields did okay with that, did pretty good. Look, is there always room for improvement? But they scored 32 points. Jets ran the ball good today. They ran the ball phenomenal. Breece Hall, phenomenal. That was a great running game attack there when you have that, and especially when teams are going to start jamming the box. Now it's up to the Jets to make those adjustments. Teams are going to have a lot of film. They're going to have film for week 1. They saw what the Jets did well. Again, we're going to find out how good this coaching staff is. And before we give them and say they're either doing the right thing or not, we need at least 4 to 5 games before we really know how well Glenn's staff and company did. And they versus a good Steeler defense. But the Steelers got a lot of new parts on their defense, even though they still have Watt in the front 4 and so forth. But they're secondary. That's why week 1 is the most overreacted and tough to bet week in the NFL. I think everything starts settling in week 4, but you don't want to start off 0-2, 0-3, and trying to chase that first win by week 4. Hopefully next week, the Jets will again come out with the same sense of ground and pound attack, get a little more cleaner on defense, find more of their assignments, and I think the Jets should be able to even up their record 1-1, but it's a typical overreaction week 1 loss. I don't want to overreact either. I don't want to get too down or negative Nancy when it comes to the Jets. But I'm just a little bit, as a Jet fan, frustrated. 15-year drought, 56 years not in the Super Bowl. That hopefully that comes to an end. And it's just week 1. It's a new week, a new hope. Let's hope that this is a turn to the corner with the Jets. Hey, look, give the Steelers a victory. The thing that hurts, it's a home loss and it's a conference loss. That's the only thing that kind of stings a little bit in the week 1 loss. But if at the end of the year this loss comes to a really good Steeler team that's vying for an AFC title game, I mean, is that something that you want to like, oh, we took them to the brink and we lost? I mean, it's like saying you're the tallest dwarf in the circus. You just got to win. The Jets just got to win. At the end of the day, winning is the best. It's the best deodorant of champions that they call it. I believe Boomer Esiason says that on his show. But we'll see how it goes. I just wanted to talk and just react, give you my thoughts. If I'm going to say the game, I'm encouraged that there's going to be there's a change on the horizon when it comes to the New York Jets. So I am BX Sports Jedi Kev. Thank you. This is The Way, the Jets Salarian podcast. Enjoy football week 1, and we'll talk soon, friends. And don't forget, hit the notification. I'll try to get at the end. I'm going to give 24 hours to see how the video does. If we get more action, we'll do more Jet stuff. All right. So thank you guys. Appreciate you guys, and may the sports be with you.
This is The Way.
This is the way.
This is the way.